Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? Thank you very much for joining us today. We are here live with our recent partner announcement here at TCG World, and I have some amazing guests here from this project, and I'm excited to get into it with you all. So who wants to go first? We got Gary Ma, and we've got Darren Smith. Gentlemen, maybe one of you can introduce yourselves first. Maybe Gary, maybe you start first.
Sure. Thanks a lot, PJ. Nice to meet everyone in this community. We're really excited to be here and share some AMA time with you all. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Ma. I am the COO of Epik. What I do is I oversee all of Epik's global operations. I have over 16 plus years experience in technology sales and other operational roles across multiple industries. Prior to Epik, I've worked with some of the biggest brands and celebrity artists, producing large-scale music festivals and concerts across the world. And now at Epik, we work with the biggest brands in IP to create premium digital merchandise and collectibles. So, pleasure to meet you all.
Really cool. Really cool, man. Darren, let's introduce you as well.
Hi, PJ. It's great to meet you and great to meet everybody here in the community. I'm Darren Smith. I'm the VP of Product at Epik. I've been with the company since its founding back in 2018 now. Wow. So I'm in charge of the product here at Epik. My background is in the video game industry. I was with Nintendo for about 20 years. I have a technology background, so I worked on the development of various game systems, including the Wii, the 3DS, the DSi, as well as some games, one with Mr. Miyamoto, and some things with Pokemon and online game services and a whole bunch of other things. But I'm happy to be here with Epik. We're making things happen on the digital collectible side, and we're happy to be part of what's happening in your world.
Oh yeah, we here at TCG know everything about collectibles, and that is a big part of TCG World. So exciting, Darren, to see that expertise come in with the partnership. So folks here that are joining us on the live chat, thanks very much. We're going to be watching the live chat, interacting with you in there. Also, as you guys know, we filled out forms from you all, from some questions that you had for the Epik team. We did a Google form for that, and those plot owners were able to get their voices here on the stage. So we're excited to get through those questions and talk about them. But hey, look, before we get into all that, if you guys don't mind, maybe let's talk a little bit about the project. Give us an overview. I don't know who wants to go through it first.
Yeah, happy to dive in there quickly. For those of you that are less familiar with what Epik is or does, in a very brief overview, I guess, Epik is a Web3 metaverse ecosystem. We started this company in early 2018, building B2B NFT technology while putting brands into mainstream games. We quickly grew to become the leading digital licensing agency, working with hundreds of brand properties, as well as becoming the largest enterprise gaming ecosystem in the world, now working with over 300 plus gaming clients, from traditional and mainstream games to crypto games to digital platforms and metaverses and digital platforms as a whole, including now over half of the top 25 game companies in the world, like Tencent or Greena, Bandai, Take-Two, IGG, dozens and dozens of others. So we're taking our expansive network and technology to support other metaverses and games by creating the first unified, interoperable, and interconnected Web3 ecosystem. So you can find more about us, in epikprime.com. Epik is spelled with a K. But yeah, I'm sure we'll share some links and stuff in the chat below. But to your question, PJ, what was the question? Kind of got lost track there.
No, you hit it perfectly, Gary. Perfect. Yeah, we're just looking for an overview, but maybe we'll jump into just the TCG community did see some pretty big news that you all, when you agreed to partner up with TCG World, which was the acquisition of quite a sizable size of land, in virtual land in the world. It's about 16 plots of commercial plots that are in the world, in the Asia region.
Yeah.
Any initial plans or any thoughts of what's to come there? It might be really early on. I think we just agreed and put ink to paper, but yeah, that's just one of our first questions we got from the community.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is an extremely exciting partnership, and quite frankly, a landmark deal. What you guys are doing at TCG World and kind of paving the way forward, bringing that level of understanding of commercial real estate and digital ownership, I think is pretty unparalleled. So, when we're looking at a variety of different partners, which we do have, TCG really stood out to us. So it's really exciting to get into this partnership. And like I said, it's a landmark deal. There's significant value that we're talking about here. And speaking with your team and our leadership, we felt that we could really deliver something that's very unique, that's never really been done so far, and continue to build upon that, of course, with TCG in creating really unique experiences, engagements for users, game players, collectors, NFT Web3 enthusiasts, everything that Web3 and metaverses are, and deliver that through the world that you guys are building. So yeah, that kind of sums it up. I mean, I think that sums it up right there.
That's a great segue, Gary, into that. Like the next question I've got here is the community was asking about. There's a few metaverses out there, right?
Right.
You could choose quite a few out there. Why TCG? Why TCG World?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and your community, I'm sure, knows this, which is why they're part of your community. But I mean, you guys have done a fantastic job. Every world is going to be uniquely different, and that really pinpoints exactly what what Epik does that's different than any other NFT company out there, any other metaverse provider out there. Is, we work on building ecosystems and supporting ecosystems. Our vision is to bring mass adoption to crypto, but also B, as a business, where we're heading to is to create this kind of infrastructure layer across all of gaming and all digital platforms, and especially within all metaverses. So, as we started having early conversations about like what metaverses are and all these types of things, I believe that a lot of the regular mainstream consumers, or even investors and institutionals, whoever your audience, by and large, they envision like a really giant Ready Player One Oasis mega metaverse type of thing, where everyone's going to play in. That could be an eventuality in the future, but what we see happen right now is that everyone has different tastes and interests. Every world is different. Everything offers something unique. So what we're seeing is fragmented individual metaverses all across the world. So what Epik does that we do really, really well is as a company that started in a B2B type of business model, is work with and collaborate with other partners and then start building interactivity and interoperability across them all. So that's how we kind of view that. And when we kind of going back to TCG offers something very unique that is different than everybody else, of course. So we think we can just do some really, really cool stuff here in the years ahead.
Gary, anything additional thoughts on that?
Gary or Darren?
I'm sorry, Darren.
No, that's all right. No, absolutely. I mean, as we've looked at your beta, I mean, it's a really impressive world that you've built, and we're happy just to be a part of it.
Well, let's talk about our next question that we have here from the community, if you don't mind. It's with the things that you're putting into Epikverse, as part of your whole ecosystem you guys are building out. How does TCG World's like an open world, right? So, there's businesses that are going to be startup in there. There's pretty much whatever your imagination is, you can do. You can set up a billboard on your plot, kind of like when you think about TCG World, curious about like in the Epikverse, like the connectability in between metaverses, like all that, we need that, right? Because like you're saying, it's so sparse right now. There's so many of them out there. How do you feel like that kind of plays into what Epik can bring to the table on that front?
Yeah, as the open world type of aspect.
Yeah, as an open world and all that. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so because some of our, I don't need to mention the competitors, but some of our competitors, aren't like that, right? So bringing in in-game assets, if you put it in a Blender, bring it in, you can put it up on, all that open source, open world concept,
100%. And I'm sure Darren has opinion here, and given his background, so heavily involved in like digital space from the get-go. He's pretty humble about his achievements over at Nintendo, but every kind of major product that kind of came out of the Nintendo company there had Darren's input or thumbprint on. So when that idea of like an open world and the the values of the belief that everything should be a little bit more open, should be a little bit more inclusive, should work well with others. I think that's important, right? I mean, I think most of us here believe in the ideology of decentralized, open, access to your own assets, all those values. So I think worlds that ingrain that are very important because they bring that ethos into that, and that's going to be a very important part as we continue to build out these worlds and really deliver like consumer first, consumer interest type of products and experiences. So yeah, I think that was something we had discussion about, right? And like kind of like your guys' open world aspect of it is very, very important. Darren, anything to add on that?
I really just think the interoperability is the key to some of this. Like, and that's exactly what the Epikverse is all about. Is having something in one world available in another world. So we're excited to make that happen.
Looks like David's still up. He said, "Did anyone mention gamification of the metaverse yet?" So he's in the chat, guys. He's probably in bed. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. He never sleeps, but
yeah,
gotta love that. You want to make any comments on that comment?
Hi, David. My comment is hello.
That's awesome.
Go to bed.
Go to bed, David. Let's go get some rest. What about this question? Does Epikverse's vision include bringing other metaverses together with TCG World?
Yeah. I can respond to that from a content side, Darren. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe if you want to anything to add on that in terms of like technology wise, feel free.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what our technology is bringing. It is that sort of rails between.
Oh, did you freeze up?
Oh no. Yeah, you want to take it, Gary, while I try to get Darren back?
Yeah, they didn't. The internet gods didn't like his response, so they decided to X him out. Yes, exactly. Like this is a gateway and a portal to multiple different digital platforms, primarily Web3 and metaverses, right? So the idea of bringing shared experiences, making NFTs and items open and interoperable between those, being able to have commerce, trading, and social features between users across all those. And one of the things that we can apply that could be very, very unique to Epikverse is that idea of doing all that while staying persistent within the world that you're currently in.
Yeah.
So if I'm in TCG and I have a friend that's over in another metaverse, but we're all in our Epikverse environment, well, we can interact in ways that would not normally be available because we're creating that bridge across these different platforms.
Nice. I see we got Darren back. I don't know how much you caught there of Gary's response, Darren, but
it's only the last few seconds of it. So,
all right. Well, let's go to the next question, just because I want to make sure we set you up good here. But so, what is Epik's vetting process for onboarding companies? Right. So, obviously, you did your diligence on TCG World, but what is? Can you just give us a little behind the scenes of what that's like?
Yeah, and it's a great question. And working in the more crypto native space and with people that are really like crypto companies is much different than working with some of the other clients that we've had historically. Like I mentioned earlier, we work with everything from small size to very large size, but that could include publicly traded companies, Fortune 500s, like giant entertainment and IP brands, etc. So the vetting process is going to be quite a bit different across the spectrum. I would say a level of due diligence and awareness is definitely prudent in this space. I don't think the events of this last week could hammer that point home any more so for those that are catching us, just kind of like the FTX situations. And heartfelt goes out to anybody that's caught on the wrong side of that, of course. But yes, it includes lots of things, but primarily it's just finding the right fit. There's a long answer to, but basically look at that. It's like, what can we do together? Do we have compatibility with each other? Do we have a shared vision with each other? Do they have, is the company operating and doing great things and ethical and all that kind of stuff? But at the end of the thing too is, we're building products together. So we got to figure out like what we're going to build together that's going to be amazing.
Thanks. And Gary, anything you want to add?
I just added. Is Darren back? I don't see
I'm,
Do that
I'm
again,
here. I'm
Darren.
here.
Sorry, gosh.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
no sweat.
Gary, Darren, we get mixed up at Starbucks often.
The cup, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sorry, Darren, go ahead.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, it's the vetting process, is
he back,
exactly.
PJ?
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
here.
know
Can
if I
you
see him
can you
yet.
hear me?
Okay.
It's exactly as Gary said. Hey, is it the right fit? That's what we're looking for. And all of the companies that we worked with so far have been tremendous.
We did get a question in the chat, guys, about events that you may have planned for in TCG World. Anything we can share yet about that? Diso is asking about this. Diso Syndicate.
Yeah, that's a great question, and obviously something on the top of everyone's minds. If you can envision what our roadmap is with TCG, over time, we'll be looking at building unique, differentiated activations and experiences within, those plots in the TCG world. All I can say at this point is, given our background working with, entertainment and IP and brands, that's going to be a core element of the type of experiences we're going to bring. We're going to be, Epik has always only worked with premium licensed IP for our NFTs and content. So we'll be looking to bring a lot of those brands, etc., into TCG. We work with a lot of video games. We'll be looking at expanding, to David's question, gamification and gamified experiences on TCG World as well. So yeah, that just kind of gives a direction in terms of where we envision building this together. In terms of actual content and things like that, we typically like to reserve those for official announcements. We kind of get that in our community quite a bit. It's like, when are we going to get this announcement, or when are we going to announce it? And unfortunately, a lot of times, especially working with some of these IP and stuff, we can't say anything until it's actually officially able to disclose.
Official, right? Yeah,
like confidentiality and stuff like that. But just kind of know, like, we're aiming to bring a lot of our prowess into those areas, right? Like bring in really cool brands, bring in really cool games, experiences into the area there.
I took a look at some of the videos on your YouTube channel and some folks that you're already interacting with, and if it's anything like that, wow, we've got some exciting things coming. Especially your recent partnership that you did with Triller. But yeah, it's really cool stuff that's happening, Gary. Nice. Yeah, and so kind of getting back to some of the community questions here that were sent in. Maybe we could talk about what is the long-term goal vision to increase the user experience, since we're talking about experience in itself. They had mentioned things like VR headsets, tracks, goggles, etc. Things like that. And is there something new that you guys maybe might be working on that you want to maybe hint to that, without saying too much, maybe about what you see in the future here about interacting in metaverses?
Yeah, and that kind of ties in with the earlier response too, right? I mean, working with our platforms, I mean, this isn't something we just take content off the shelf and really plug and play into. Everything's custom. Everything we work with you guys is an extension of like what your community and what we feel would be great and exciting there. And in addition to that, like, what are the unique features that your platform offers that some others may or may not offer? And then so we look at building activations or content around those, so to kind of offer the best experience for the users, right? And of course, TCG and Epik will always be pushing the boundaries on whatever those capabilities are. Maybe at some point we are wearing all headsets and going crazy inside this VR immersive world. Or maybe it's opposite of that. Maybe we offer something on mobile that's really, widespread accessible, but just within the confines of a mobile screen, right? So I think all of those are on the table. But yeah, we just work very intimately with our partners and look at what is the right type of content that everyone's going to be excited about for your community.
I mean, Darren, with your background with Nintendo, did you ever think you'd be talking about VR headsets and gloves and tracks and things like that?
Well, I did have a little bit to do with Virtual Boy, so
Oh,
if you
okay.
remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
platform a long time ago. So yeah, we had early experience in that type of headset.
Pioneers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although it was not the most successful product that Nintendo had. Yeah, the whole world of virtual reality has had lots of ups and downs, and we'll eventually hit the right thing. I think we haven't quite found it yet, but I think with all the work that people are doing in metaverses like yours, it's going to find its way soon. So we're definitely excited about that. When it comes to technology, yeah, like Gary said, um, we partner with our technology companies, so like yours, to figure out how to best use our technology. So if that means using headsets and whatnot, we will find the best way to maximize that experience.
We have some comments, Darren, about Virtual Boy, I guess. You got some fans in here. The Sprite Report Roy in our community said Virtual Boy was revolutionary, just not well received is all. So
That's right.
we've
Yeah,
got
that's true.
Vito Savaggio saying Virtual Boy ahead of its time, Darren. So yeah,
Yeah,
don't beat
that's
yourself up
true.
too much, man.
I worked on the Virtual Boy 2, which was an actual color version of it
yeah.
for some period of time. Mr. Yokoi sadly left the company before it was complete.
Well, sequels are always better than the first one, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So another question we
That's
had is, I'm sorry, you say
said
something?
I was gonna say said Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh yeah, that's too soon, Gary. That's too soon. So one other question we had, and guys in the chat, thank you very much. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. We're just love the chat. You guys are giving us these questions. It's a lot of fun. It's an engaging conversation. But you mentioned on your website 1 billion users, which is a big number, right, guys?
Yeah.
So as impressive as it is, how would these users kind of translate back to like what TCG World can expect? It's nobody has a crystal ball here, right? But given that reach, people see that number and they get pretty excited. So anything you guys can share about that?
Yeah, of course. And they should be excited. We're excited. I think that really is, we've been waiting for this type of opportunity. And I think everyone that's been early into crypto really believes in it, and just kind of like breaking down these barriers and making crypto more accessible, more usable, and more reasons to use it primarily behind that as well, right? So, I mean, our network is expansive. I mean, we could actually theoretically put a bigger number on there quite easily in terms of like our consumer reach through of all of our clients that we've worked with already. But it would just kind of be pointless, right? Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, some of our games and platforms, they come with tens of millions or hundreds of millions of daily active users, right? That's kind of like the scale that we operate with. And, one DOM at a time, we'll be onboarding millions of users at a time. What does that mean for TCG? That kind of speaks out to this holistic Epikverse experience, bringing cross-pollinating between everybody that's already in the space as a whole. And pretty soon we can kind of like, a lot of that traffic, a lot of that audience is going to flow through with our partners as well.
Yeah.
We're all going to benefit as a whole as that continues to happen.
And Darren, with your Nintendo experience, I mean, you're definitely accustomed to a large audience. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you must be
for
pretty
sure.
excited about that number when you came to Epik, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we lined up an incredible, like you can see it behind us. Some of these big names back here have huge daily active users. So definitely it's driving awareness of all of the partners in our ecosystem.
So I think we already addressed the next question, but if you guys want to add any color on it, it was about when can we actually expect to see maybe the first plot or plots up and running in TCG World with some experience or of some sorts. I know that's dependent on the TCG studio. I know there's dependencies there. Just out of curiosity, if maybe you want to comment on that at all.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're gonna follow the roadmap for TCG, obviously. So I'm sure there's a roadmap for that in terms of developing on the open world. With or without that, or leading up to that, I think we're already in discussions to launch some activations that could be accessible for our users, kind of regardless of the open world aspect of it. So yeah, things are in the works already. I think just stay tuned. Make sure you smash the like button and follow the channel to get all the news and updates.
There you go, Gary. Jeez, it's like you practiced that ahead of time, man. Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, guys, this is how we get the content out there to people. You got to hit that like button. Only just quick like. Yeah. So, guys, kind of looking at the chat here. I mean, we had some other comments here. Maybe on. Let's go with this one. Plots north of Asia. So you got your. Actually, I think I might have.
Screenshot.
The screenshot here. Let me ask the question. I'll probably pull that in here. But given there's some plots around there that holders own, just kind of curious. Anything they should expect, or should they be FOMOing? You probably can't give financial advice. I know you can, but it's something that's always of interest to be close proximity to big players, right? So you guys are definitely a big player as we see you. So anything we could share about that?
Get your hands on some neighboring plots. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's historical argument of value being there on land and plots neighboring significant other pieces of land. So I guess the question is kind of what is the question? Well, yeah, we're situated just north of Asia. So if people are familiar or not familiar with the map, that's where the bulk of Epik activations are going to be. What we like to do is we like to have like a concentrated area within a land map, so that as people are navigating through these worlds, it's like a entertainment district. It's a Disneyland. It's a Soho, New York. It's a handful of other analogies we could use, but basically a concentrated area where people can understand that they're in an environment that is consistent with the Epikverse. So just intuitively, same way you would if you were walking into a familiar environment anywhere else in real life. That's always going to be there. Certain elements that we have across the Epikverse will also be persistent there. Epikverse shops, certain types of branding or capabilities that are ideally only available in those spaces. Yeah. So then that makes it a unique place and attraction to go.
Excellent. Yeah, I did bring up the image here for folks that are watching the stream. Again, the Epik purchase of plots was right here in the Asia region, the north center quadrant of all 16 commercial plots here. And yeah, I mean, we don't give financial advice, but might want to take a look at the map. That's all. So we'll just leave it at that. So anywho, guys, we're making some great time here. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. We do have a question. Is the Epik land going to be sold or developed only by Epik? So I think we're talking about the commercial plots that you guys have there in the world.
Yeah, that's a great question. The short answer is yes, of course. We didn't make this investment, and we're not working with TCG to flip land or to look at it from a speculative type of nature. Our goal and our vision is to be a long-term partner and a long-term resident here in the world and develop, activations and experiences in these lands. We do work with, like I mentioned, a lot of different partners, and there are different types of relationships that may come in on commercial, the commercial ways that we can bring in some of these brands or activities in there. So we'll just take those one step at a time. That's our background. We have a lot of history and experience working in the licensing world. We've been, like we mentioned, I mean, that's in our bio. We're a leading digital licensing agency. So yeah, but by and large, in principle, it's going to be Epik, and you can expect us to be a long-term partner and building this world together with TCG.
Love it. Darren, anything you want to
add? I guess just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And we got Shelly saying Asia is going to be hardcore marketing marketing. Marketing. I don't know what you meant there, Shelly, but she corrected herself. Marketing, hardcore marketing district. Oh, interesting. Let's go into building your own landmark. Nice. Playing with words there. So hey guys, one thing that we were talking about in management chat before this stream, and sorry, I'm gonna kind of surprise you with it, but it's actually good news.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys know this, Gary and Darren, but we are running a buy one get one free promotion right now at TCG World. So if you buy a plot of land, you're going to get a free plot of land, and then you also get 2 additional digital assets, which are going to be castles that you can actually put on your plot of lands, and decorate them and do whatever you want to them. So that's a promotion we're doing right now till the end of November, and we wanted to actually at TCG World, we wanted to extend that offer to your community as well. So we actually are this is breaking news right now. If anybody in your community wants to partake in this opportunity, we have a promotional code. Epikverse is what we're doing with that. So when they're going to buy their plot of land, if they use the code Epikverse in the checkout under the referral code, they get they'll be able to participate in this offer. So just wanted to extend that to your community as well. So we'll
amazing. We appreciate that, and I think that's a great example there. I think people can expect more of these really great cooperation, collaboration between us that offers more value for our communities. For those of us that don't know as much about Epik, we have our own utility token. It's a membership-based token. It's called Epik Prime. EPIK is kind of the ticker. So we'll be working closely with TCG and TCG Coin as well to accrue value for all those people that are supporters of both of our projects. As a membership token is pretty straightforward, as you guys could imagine. Exclusive rewards, access, certain things, a lot of privileges, benefits, opens up doors, early access, customizations, you name it. Sky's the limit. So yeah, a little bit of a plug for us as well, but just kind of paint the picture of how we can all work together cooperatively across each other's programs as well.
So this is just something that came into mind. What about how your token might come into play with TCG World? Is there any plans for that, you think?
100%. The first utility that that Epik Prime offers is that the membership based benefit program. So like many other membership programs you guys all may or may not be part of, from air miles to etc. You can become really creative with that, right? Mm-hmm. So, our goal is to offer more value for our members that hold and use Epik Prime tokens that they could get anywhere else, that they can only get by doing that. How does that interplay with TCG? Well, I mean, as we're walking through these things we're talking about, these experiences, NFT tickets to, gated opportunities to experience certain things with each other, in the world, those are all going to be part of that. And of course, we bring a whole long tail of value and experiences outside of TCG as well. And we're trying to build this kind of open, expansive thing between the entire ecosystem. So yes, to answer your question, hopefully I did.
Yep, it sure does. Another question we had was on does Epikverse TCG feel it's important to cater to the youngest generations for the future of TCG metaverse adoption? If so, what's the plan? I think we're talking about Gen Z, millennials, things like that. What are we thinking there with that target audience?
Yeah, I think that's extremely important, right? Again, kind of harking back to like what we were talking about earlier in the conversation. They're digitally native. It's extremely important to include them in this. And we do that by giving them a reason, right? Offering products and services or experiences that are enticing to not just their audience, but every other audience as well, and adding value that way. And then on the flip side of that, like really lowering the barrier and the friction for people to get involved, because as we know, that's just a giant hurdle for mass adoption. What we are seeing on the light side of that, though, is, we're really innovating in this space. And in terms of like the value creation and utility across NFTs and experiences in your world and others, that trajectory is going strong. So on the value accrual side, it's definitely heading in the right way it needs to go. I think there's quite a bit of headway actually also as well in terms of lowering those barriers. And we do a lot of work with that as well. I mean, for example, we make our marketplace open to regular consumers that are not necessarily crypto savvy, etc. So I think working together, we can really hit that audience. I do believe they're important. All audiences are important, but definitely those that are digitally native. I mean, it's just going to make a lot of sense for us to understand what they're thinking about this. I mean, Darren, did you want to add anything? I mean, you work a lot in terms of this from a product standpoint, making sure that Epik is at the forefront of making it accessible to a lot of the people we work with, which is mainstream, which is mass, like, regular brands, etc. And he leads the team to doing a lot of stuff into the multi-chain, wallets, etc. Whatever.
Yeah, and just coming from Nintendo, I mean, we were focused on that generation all the time, bringing that a younger generation of people into game playing. For many, it was their first experience in gaming. Still is today. Nintendo was definitely the onboard of gaming, and hopefully we kept them for the rest of their lives. So we definitely think about that quite a bit when we create our user experience in our marketplace, and as we work with our partners to integrate our technology. But you know what? A lot of it comes down to content too. So my 15-year-old daughter is very excited about Doja Cat being in one of our integrations. So
maybe can we double click on that a little bit? Because I caught a couple of videos, and it's kind of a gaming experience, right? You're going to a party, I think it is. I mean, I don't think I'm cool enough. I watched it and I don't think I understand it, but maybe just tell us a little about that brand that you guys are developing there in Epikverse.
That's House Party, but I think Gary can probably speak to that a little bit better.
What's that?
Gary, you there?
Did we lose Gary?
Oh, we may have lost Gary.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. We're asking about the Doja Cat brand that you guys are.
So for the audience, just so you guys know, like, we have like two conversations going on here. I don't see Darren or hear Darren. So if there's like a passing back of the conversation, we're just kind of working in like single channels here. So if we're a little bit off key, apologies. Was there a question for me?
Yeah. So we're just talking about some of those brands behind you there, right, on your guys' virtual background. So
right.
Darren had brought up Doja Cat, and I've seen a couple of the videos on there, and it was just interesting, like how it seems like it's something in line with what a metaverse would be, right? Is like you got an adventure or some kind of task or a quest that you're going on, right? And maybe not a house party per se, but maybe it's something else in TCG World, right? Where you're going on a quest and trying to analogize that. Again, bringing it back full circle to TCG, like what is that experience like? The questions, I guess, what is that like, the Doja Cat? How did you guys land that arrangement with her? And what's in the future in the cards for you guys with that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good project to produce, with Eat Games, which is the creator of House Party. Really fun, interactive, mature level game, which is kind of unique, different in and of itself. We've been kind of doing live virtual concerts since as early as like early 2019. So we've been kind of doing that, pretty early on before it became popular for sure. And we access like all the record labels, right? So the big ones, of course. So we work very heavily with musicians. And the Doja opportunity just kind of really materialized organically. And that kind of speaks to what we're talking about like finding the right fit and all these things. I mean, you got a product like House Party that's unique in and of itself. Finding the right type of talent that really is a match for that. I felt Doja Cat was the perfect fit. And as you can see, she pretty much is. So yeah, we put that deal together, and it's the first time Doja Cat has appeared into a game, which is very, very exciting. We have complete live, voiceover and interaction from Doja herself. Very hands-on into the development. It was a very collaborative effort. So yeah, you can take that, exactly what Darren, I think, said, because I can't hear him, but, take experiences like that, and we can apply those same things to TCG and activations into the Epikverse and etc.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're having technical difficulties there, Gary, but yeah, we'll try to manage through. We're here kind of in the final stretch anyways, but like kind of one of the other questions too, and then we'll kind of just open it up freely here, and after we get through the community questions, but it's kind of taking it back to your plans and objectives. I know we talked a little bit about this, but like when you think about, just to sum it up for everybody on the call here that are watching this, what can TCG investors, holders, and people in TCG World, what can they expect from Epik and Epikverse?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, they can be really excited and proud that they're involved and supporting something that is groundbreaking, right? We are all, at the vanguard of this larger movement breaking into Web3 metaverses, and we're only scratching the surface for mainstream users to understand like the value of NFTs and owning your digital assets and all these types of things. And all of us here on this call and otherwise are part of that movement, right? And anybody that's involved with your company and our company, I think first and foremost can get really excited and be very proud that they're involved in this conversation and involved with these projects that are leading projects in the space. I think they're also going to look forward to experiencing really fun and interactive stuff themselves. So, that's also going to be fun. And it's a common kind of formula, right? Add value, create value, and people will profit, so to speak. So in terms of the investor base or people that supported all of our projects, I think they have that to look forward to, right? We're going to be building some amazing stuff together. It's going to be really exciting for users, and it's that should result in a healthy kind of turn for any of the people that look at it from an investment standpoint as well.
Darren?
Yeah, I think Epik brings years of experience to this partnership. We founded in 2018, and we have lots of experience integrating with many partners. So we have a large portfolio of technology that we bring to the table, as well as a large portfolio of content partners too, as Gary said. So I think bringing all that to TCG is going to just enhance the experience for all of your users.
Excellent. We did get a really interesting question from the community chat here. As far as compatibility goes, do you see any limitations integrating kind of the current Epikverse with TCG World, or is it generally just is it generally cross-platform? Is the question.
We will be working with you closely to make sure that that all the content is available in your world.
Great. And we had some questions about your Epik token. Is it on Binance Smart Chain, or is it on other chains as well?
The Epik token itself is on Ethereum and BSC as well. Yeah. So for BSC, available on PancakeSwap for BSC, and on Ethereum, it's on Uniswap, obviously, and also on Huobi Global, KuCoin, as well as Gate.
Okay. And that's tokens called what now? What's the name of it? How do you
say it? Epik Prime, yes. And the ticker would be EPIK.
Okay, got it. Excellent. EPIK. All right, great. Any other things? We're kind of at the end here. Anything else you want to talk about? We covered it. We covered a ton of ground, guys. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to share with the community here? Would be fantastic.
Anything, Darren? Mono sound. I don't know what's going on.
Just looking to see how our partnership blossoms. We're really excited to be working with you, and can't wait to see what happens.
Excellent. And Gary, do you want to give us some closing remarks as well for you?
Sure. I couldn't hear what Darren said, but I'm sure whatever he said, I echo what he said. we are extremely thrilled. I'll leave that with our audiences here. It's really thrilled with this partnership and what's ahead of us. And like I said, I think we're doing some amazing stuff individually and even more so together. And it's going to be an exciting future. To everybody, stay strong. We know 2022 has been brutal for everyone. So hang in there. Stay believing. It's an eventuality, where we're heading to. So we look forward to being on that journey with you all as well.
Well, you guys, just like I said, you've been amazing. Thank you very much for spending your time. I know it's early in the morning in Singapore there for you, Gary. So thank you very much for joining us here, and Darren as well. You guys have it's been great. It's been great. And I think the community echoes that. It's just how engaging they were with the chat today. So, yeah, I think with that, we'll kind of leave it. Folks, thanks very much. Don't forget, hit that like on your way out. It doesn't cost you a thing. Helps us out here as we're getting the content out. Really do appreciate it. For Gary Ma and Darren Smith from Epik, I'm PJ Crypto, your host here at TCG World, and I will see you on the moon.